When Victor first saw this house, he immediately felt that something was wrong. The house stood on the outskirts of a small village, overgrown with weeds and surrounded by a dilapidated fence. No one knew who had lived here before, and this only added to the mystery of this place. For Victor, this was a chance to start a new life away from the city, away from noise and people. But he had no idea that inside this house, other sounds were waiting for him, sounds that would change his life forever. The move went smoothly. The house, although old, seemed reliable. The first few days passed without incident. Victor was busy with repairs, unpacking things, and from time to time he went to the nearby forest for firewood. Nothing foreshadowed trouble until he found this diary. The diary was lying in the basement, hidden among old boxes and furniture. It was in a shabby state. The pages were yellowed, but they were still legible. There was no title on the cover, only the initial M, engraved on the leather surface. Intrigued by the find, Victor decided to take the diary upstairs and read it in the evening. The first thing he noticed when he started reading was the unusual writing style. The pages were filled with chaotic notes describing strange events happening in the house, noises at night, footsteps, quiet whispers. It seemed that the author of the diary, this mysterious M, was gradually going crazy, observing strange phenomena that no one else saw. Every night, the diary described increasingly creepy events. "The whispers are getting louder," M wrote in one of the last entries. "I'm afraid to fall asleep. They come to me in my dreams." Reading the diary fascinated Victor, and he did not notice how time flew by. Night fell. He closed the diary and went to bed, not suspecting that this evening would be the beginning of his nightmares. As soon as Victor fell asleep, something changed. He woke up in the middle of the night from a strange sound, a quiet whisper, as if someone was talking right next to his ear. Looking around, he did not see anyone. But this whisper, like an echo, continued to sound, fading somewhere in the walls. Victor got up, looked around the room, but did not find anything suspicious. It seemed to him that it was just his imagination, and he returned to bed. But the next night everything repeated itself. The whispers became louder. Now he was surrounded by the feeling that someone was following him. He heard footsteps in the hallway, felt an invisible presence in the room. Victor could not understand what was happening after all. The house was completely empty. On the third day, Victor took up the diary again, hoping to find at least some answers. But the pages became more and more insane. M described how figures began to appear to him, dark, distorted silhouettes that hid in the corners of the rooms. "They are here," said one of the last entries. "They are waiting. But for what?" That night, Victor decided not to go to bed. He sat in a chair, holding a flashlight in his hands, and listened to every sound. But when the clock struck midnight, the house came alive. Whispers and footsteps filled every room. Victor felt a cold sweat run down his back. Suddenly, there was a creak behind him. He turned and saw that the door to the attic was ajar. With a flashlight in his hand, Victor slowly climbed the stairs. His heart was pounding in his chest, but he could not stop. The attic was filled with thick darkness, but something was moving in the corner. The figure was not a person, but something else, distorted, as if torn from someone else's dream. She watched him, motionless. At that moment, Victor realized this was not just a ghost or a hallucination. This was something alive, something ancient, lurking in the shadows of this house. It had lived here for centuries, and now it had chosen Victor. He began to run, but the whispers became deafening. The footsteps followed him throughout the house. Doors slammed in front of him, the walls seemed to narrow, preventing him from getting out. He was trapped. When Victor finally got outside, the house stood silent and empty, as always. But now Victor knew the truth: no one could escape from them. These creatures did not just live in the walls. They were a part of this place, and anyone who entered the house became their prisoner. The next day, no one saw Victor. The house was empty again, and rumors began to spread in the village. Someone heard footsteps at night, someone whispers, but no one dared go inside.